Okay, good almost afternoon, y'all. Thank you so much for coming out and shaving off part of your Easter weekend to be here at Hall of State to enjoy some fellowship and to celebrate a new lease on life for Papers of the Texas Revolution. This is a big day, and it's a big day for Texas History Trust. It's an even bigger day for Texas history writ large. After today, the holy grail of historical inquiry on the Texas Revolution belongs to everybody, 24 hours a day around the world, as long as they have an internet connection and some sort of screen. It is fortuitous that I finished this project in 2023 because this is the 50th anniversary of that publication. And I didn't realize until a couple of days ago, actually, that it's a big weekend for the Texas History Trust, because this weekend, tomorrow actually, we turn 8. Not 8 years old, we turn 8 months old. We are a new organization, and in 8 months, we've brought tens of thousands of pages of source material pertaining to Texas history online for everybody to read, view, and search. That's academic scholars, non-academic scholars, just it democratizes this information for everybody, and that's a pretty big deal. It's everything from the Spanish and Mexican eras in Texas, the Lamar Papers, the Houston Papers, the Austin Papers, and today we add the most sparkling jewel to our digital crown with Papers of the Texas Revolution. In less than 8 months, we've made some fun video content that some of you have seen. We've made some serious video content that some of you have seen. But the thing I'm proudest of as chairman of the trust is our digital library. We make the lives of Texans richer by the knowledge that we give them access to if they choose to seek it. And somewhere in this room is Ashley from Dallas Historical Society. When I was talking with Ashley about, who to invite, who should I invite, who should they invite, I said, I don't want a big crowd. Not only do I not like big crowds, I didn't really want to feed a big crowd. And I wanted a great crowd. And I think that's what we have. In this room, we've got representatives of the sons and daughters, representatives of the Texas Navy Association, entrepreneurs, lay historians, a couple of professional historians. We don't hold that against them. But what I think we all have in common is a deep desire to understand Texas history. Not to politicize it or demagogue it or use it as a cudgel, but just to understand it based on what we can know. We have a strong sense of place, and I think we all have a strong preservation instinct. And to my mind, that makes us a pretty damn great crowd. Also, during the planning stages of this event, people asked me, Michelle, why are you going to celebrate PTR, Papers of the Texas Revolution, in Dallas? So far removed from the scenes of the revolution. Why not Gonzales or Alamo Hall or San Jacinto Museum or Presidio La Bahia? And my answer is twofold. Number one, who in their right mind wouldn't want to have a reception in this Art Deco magnificence that's a relic of a time when Texans celebrated 100 years, the centennial, 100 years of the Revolution and the Republic. Who doesn't want to have a party here? And this room is not just aesthetics for me. This building is not just aesthetics. This building also houses the Dallas Historical Society. And this is a group of people who are dedicated not just to the preservation of Dallas history, but the history of the entire state of Texas. The Feely Alamo diorama, the Tejanos exhibit are proofs of their commitment to preserving all of Texas history. The folks at DHS are good people, they're dauntless people who understand the importance of accurate history to all of us. Now, there's another reason we're here in Dallas, and that is Mrs. Emily Dunn, who gave me permission to do this, to digitize her father's work. She's local to the DFW area. And making it convenient for her and her beautiful family to be here with us today was no small thing for me. If it weren't for Emily's generosity of spirit and her respect for her dad's work, we just wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be a project. And I thank you for that, from the bottom of my heart. And I want to talk just briefly about that work, about her father's work, because I think these gentlemen are going to touch on it a little bit more, but I can scratch the surface. Emily's dad was Brigadier General J. Matthews, and as the name and title imply, he was a military man. He was a military man in some capacity throughout his entire adult life, whether that was serving or whether that was being a military historian and publisher. He served in World War II in the Army and then came home from World War II and he joined the Texas National Guard. In his time with the National Guard in the 1960s, he started talking with James M. Day, who was the archivist at the Texas State Library. And General Matthews' idea was, look, I want to get every scrap of paper that's relevant to the Texas Revolution, every order, decree, receipt, all the correspondence, and I want to put it together between 2 covers. I don't think he imagined it would be between 20 covers, but that's what he ended up with. The Texas National Guard also brought General Matthews in contact with John H. Jenkins, the Texas bookman and publisher. So together, Jenkins and Matthews brought that idea to fruition. Matthews located, he collated, he transcribed. Jenkins took that and edited it and annotated it. And after about a decade of hard labor in 1973, this was the product. A 10-volume set of books was the inaugural publication of General Matthews' Presidial Press. Now, I'm a book publisher, that's what my day job is. And I can tell you without the slightest hesitation that it takes some stones to make your first publication a 10-volume reference work, to dive right into the deep end without, first dipping your toe in with, a pamphlet or a little slender biography. He just went whole hog, and I have nothing but respect for that. When this was first published, it cost $115. $115. Fast forward 5 decades to now, when a set of these books in any condition, you see we have a not so pretty set here. This is actually, Dr. Harden and I cobbled together the best looking books from 2 sets to get something nominally attractive. They start at about $2,000. That's the entry level price point for this set of books. They are rare. There's scarce, and then there's this. I don't know how long I spent as a rare bookseller. I never saw a set. So to handle a set for digitization was a treat. Through no fault of General Matthews, when the books were bound, they were bound using cheap glue. And that glue got mighty brittle mighty fast. So you have a small print run of books that fall apart in 10 or 20 years, and that creates the perfect storm for a high dollar set of books. So what that means for us is all that work that General Matthews did, that he poured into creating this, is seen by precious few people. Not everyone who has an interest in the revolution has a budget with room for a set of books that is the same price point as a used car. And not everyone lives close to a library that holds this set of books. But almost everyone has an internet connection and some kind of screen. And that's why we decided, instead of republishing these, we would just make it digital. General Matthews did all the hard work. My job 50 years later was orders of magnitude simpler. All I had to do was find technology that would give us clear images of each of those pages, and then a platform that you all could read those books and search those books that would be frictionless and make reading and research a breeze. And so I did that, and that was the easy part. And then I started scanning. And once everything was set up and everything was calibrated the right way, it was essentially click the thing to make a scan, make sure the scan is good, turn the page, click, check, turn, and I did that several thousand times. After each volume was completed, I did a little victory dance, as one does, and then collated to make sure I hadn't skipped anything, because I don't want to give you a product that is useless. The final step is sort of the nerdy step. You have to perform optical character recognition on every single page, and what that does is it brings into relief each letter on the page. And with those letters brought out in relief, the search wheel has something to grab onto. So as you type Houston and you say H, it grabs all the H's. H-O, it grabs all the H-O's. H-O-U, and that's the last step. It all gets uploaded to our online platform, and when it was all said and done, Papers of the Texas Revolution came alive on my laptop screen. Then it came alive on my iPad screen. It came alive in my phone, looking exactly as it did when General Matthews published it, but accompanied by powerful tools that I don't think General Matthews could have imagined in 1973 when he was doing this. These tools help people find and read the information that he worked so hard to put out into the world. My job was tedious. I am the queen of tedium, but it pales in comparison to what Matthews and Jenkins did 50 years ago. They aggregated all of these documents from disparate sources, and they condensed them down into these books to sit on a shelf for researchers and libraries. I took those 10 volumes and I put them in your pocket. Today is the culmination of a journey that started with General Matthews' idea in the 1960s. It is the collision of the rare book world and the digital world. I want to close with a toast. I don't even know who all has champagne, but I have my prop glass of champagne here for this purpose. If you have nothing, raise your hand at least. I think that this is something that a toast General Matthews would have enjoyed with his daughter and his grandkids and his great-grandkids here in the room today. So you may not know, when Sam Houston married his third wife, Margaret Lee, in 1840, Sam was not sober yet. He would get on the wagon after he was baptized, and that's a good thing for us today. On the ship, a ship called the New York, coming from Alabama to Galveston to begin their honeymoon, Sam raised a glass and toasted his fellow passengers, and today I toast you. I drink to the long and vigorous life of the Republic of Texas, to the wisdom of her rulers, both now and in the future, to the success of all finding homes in her borders, to the happiness and content of her citizens, and last but not least, Emily, to the beauty and virtue of her daughters. Cheers. That's it, y'all. We did it. I'm gonna go drink and eat.